Hello, and welcome to my project that I like to refer to as Humbled. This is a game that I made for my EE120B class at UCR, and I'm pretty proud of it. I feel like it's quite good. Right now, that's going on is there's just a tiny bit of dialogue. So you start off in this hall where you see a knight in front of a door, and I can just kind of read what he says. Are you willing to kill for what you believe? Yes or no? And it gives you your first option. I chose yes, and you may choose no. But every single one of these dialogue options has its own unique dialogue tree, I suppose. So this knight then tells you that many people have been here before, and if you cannot kill him, you stand no chance against the abomination that awaits behind these great doors. What will you do when you get past me? I chose to kill, and you can see the picture of the abomination behind him. And some people might choose purify, and there are some options that direct you directly to this monster instead of having to fight the knight. And here we go. The combat begins, and you are presented with a couple different options. You can choose to attack, parry, dodge, block, magic, and flurry. I chose to just do a normal attack to start off with. It'll update you on the boss's health, how much stamina you have, and he will try and quickly swing at me. And generally the way the game works is a quick attack is something you need to block because you can't dodge fast enough. A heavy attack you need to dodge because you can't block a powerful attack. But if you choose correctly, then you will get a chance to retaliate. And I chose to use my magic, more specifically my ice ability, upon the first, after I dodge or block. This also allows me to recharge some of my stamina, as some of it comes back, and casting doesn't require a lot of stamina. So now he has some scratches on him, and he's gonna try and quickly swing at me again. And you'll notice that what happens this time is he will choose to quickly swing at me like 3 times in a row, though every time that he attacks, it is randomly generated. So it's not always going to be the same thing, but he has about 5 different attacks, and here's me trying to fix the screen because I noticed it's kind of hard to see. And I'm going to take out the resistor, and I noticed that that's a lot better, so I apologize for not being able to read it previously. Hopefully you can now read it a little bit better. It's just for pretty pictures and menus, so the main thing that's going on is I put the LCD screen display because it was too bright for my camera, or for my phone, or whatever I was using. So I set up a tripod that's being dedicated to just recording that, so that it might seem a little bit darker, but that's because the screen is just really bright. So I've just been running through the combat. I perfected this game. I've seen a few people play this game, and occasionally some of them don't have any idea, but some of them just kind of innately know to dodge and block when something described as coming crashing down, or quickly swing. They're like, oh, I can try and block this. I can describe the systems a little bit more intricately as I do this. The blocking and dodging require only a small bit of stamina, but upon doing so, the stamina will then recharge at a different rate depending on what you do. Casting regen will completely max out your stamina most of the time because it costs no stamina. It adds 50 on top of the 25 that you regain every round. So I just now cast it, actually. I think I did. And you'll notice that I never actually cast Purify, but I like to say that is intentional, even though I could have done it. And Purify doesn't do any damage, but what it does is it lowers the boss's corruption, which is kind of like its own separate health bar. And I just defeated the knight, so you're going to get some flavor text here. I also fixed the camera because it was kind of being the wrong direction, kind of. I had a kind of a jerry-rig setup for this, but you'll notice that picture is back, and the knight was just consumed after I killed him. And there's a different outcome if you purify him, actually. So, as a sorrowful moan as your heart begins to feel painfully heavy, the concept of corruption itself can be felt deep in your chest. with your weapons drawn as well, or you ready your weapons as well as your very mind. And oh my god, I can't even read right now. It's kind of hard. It's on a tiny screen. Leave me alone. So now we're gonna get into the fight with the Abomination. So now I'm gonna actually cast a spell to start off with here, because I noticed that my stamina might be low from the get-go. Also, both bosses have 5 separate moves. Each of those moves do different amounts of damage and have different things that you are required of you in order to pull them off. The parry actually requires less stamina and is possible. Also, I just critted the boss, which you did not see in the first fight. But when you crit the boss, it's a 1% chance on a normal attack or cast, but a 20% chance upon a flurry. But the parry allows you to counter a heavy attack, and it requires less stamina than the dodge, but upon doing so, there's a 50% chance of you failing the parry, and you take 15 damage, but if you succeed in the parry, you deal 15 damage and get a second turn. So it's a risk-reward type system. So it's swinging its giant tendrils, about to try and crush you, but the boss just seems to let you get away every time it's going to attack. I really like the world that I've created for this game, and I am very proud of it. And you'll notice probably one of my favorite things about the second fight, as we get about halfway through it. We're nearing that point right now, or maybe 1/4 the way through it. He's much more difficult than the first boss, that being the way that he reacts to you, as well as what he says, or sometimes it's harder to tell. And I actually managed to crit the boss again, which is amazing. Crits are pretty rare things indeed, but when they happen, they're very nice. So here we go. I mean, you're fighting corruption. So what I decided to do was to let the player kind of start to feel like you're fighting corruption. Make it so that the boss doesn't seem just like another boss. It's actually starting to corrupt the screen. It's starting to make it seem weird and strange to you as you start to fight this thing. Oh, sorry, my phone here stopped recording, so I had to start a second recording, but it's back, so I apologize for that. It's not something I could have fixed, though. So now he's saying things like, ouch, stop, which previously in the previous boss fight, when you would damage him, he wouldn't actually say anything. He would just kind of it would describe his abilities, or how hurt he seemed, and that's how I kind of started off this fight, but I wanted to change things up a little bit. So I actually am playing it pretty safe right now, trying to dodge out of the way and cast low damage weapons, or low damage spells and such. And he actually says, please don't make me beg. And then occasionally the screen will freeze on a different one of his pictures, and that, I think, that adds a nice effect as well. And then I just keep casting spells and making sure that he's hurting, and yeah, please, this hurts so badly. And I actually managed to kill him too quickly when I use my attack. Apparently he had exactly 15 health left, but when he gets below the threshold of, I believe, 10 health, he says a special line that I'm particularly proud of, and this happened actually more during the purification run, but I didn't show off any of the purification on this run. I can possibly consider doing this again, but this is just the full playthrough of just fighting with a sword and shield, etc., etc. As the Abomination starts to fall apart, an unnerving sound of static fills the room. You feel a sense of guilt. This Abomination took everything from you, so why do you feel this crushing guilt? You feel cheated, and your heart is light once again, and the world is free, but you feel none of this. You feel lonely. Why did you take my life? And congratulations, you won. So that's my game, Humbled. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.